Hey YouTube, James from the Wyvern Watch here, and here with a vampire deck profile. This of course is the updated version of my first video, which I think was earlier on in 2024, so I just thought I'd choose the last day of the year to reprofile it for you. You may have seen my 1 minute deck profile as a short video not too long ago, but I've actually changed it since then. The challenge for me was to try and make a pure vampire deck, and I haven't quite achieved it, if I'm perfectly honest. There's a couple of cards in here that I thought I can't take them out, and I just thought no, I think I'll stick with it. However, the list has changed a little bit, and mainly to incorporate this guy, Vampire Lord, the original vampire, and the reason why the archetype exists. It's my original print from Dark Crisis, of course, and it's in mint condition. I've had it in my collection a long time, of course, ever since it came out, really. But I thought, yes, it's time to put him back in, and it might not be everybody's cup of tea, shall we say, in terms of card choices for a vampire deck, but it should be, because this is the original guy. So I've taken a few suggestions into consideration. Like I say, one of the suggestions on the last profile was to make a pure profile. It is possible, perfectly possible, but it's just I like the cards that I put in that aren't vampire cards, just so it gives us a bit of versatility whilst playing, and it makes it more fun. So that's why they're still in there, but I have reduced the number of them, and like I say, replaced them with other vampire choices. So let's get straight into it. I'll come up to Vampire Lord in just 1 second. I'm not going to go through the effects on all of these, of course. But we do have still Vampire Ghost at 3. Of course, it's still really the one card that sort of makes everything glue together, makes everything work. So we've still got Ghost at 3. We've still got Retainer at 3, and we've still got Familiar at 3. These sort of 9 cards are your sort of starter engines. These things get the ball rolling. For me, it's always going to be a 3 off, but you know, each to their own with regards to card ratios. The next choices are all the sort of larger level ones. These are, yeah, some of them, they're all different levels to be fair, but Vampire Scarlet Scourge, I've still got a 2. Like I say, I'm trying to run most of the names in the vampire list. I know there's obviously some that I haven't incorporated into this list, but Scarlet Scourge is still, in my opinion, worth the shout. I've also got 1 Void, 1 Fraulein, 1 Vampire Vamp, 1 Red Baron, 1 Shadow Vampire, and of course 1 Vampire Lord now. So there's lots of one-offs in there, so like I say, it doesn't exactly make for a consistent deck, but these are all pretty easily searchable via the first 9 cards, I should say. But yeah, I just like to run most of the names, and like I say, these artworks are the best. I mean, you forget how good Vampire Lord actually is. That's a super looking card. But yeah, so that's the vampire lineup, and the only other monsters I'm still running the 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, mainly because it's a zombie card, of course, and we can use it as a monster as opposed to just you know, a way of blocking the opponent's effects. But and it's also a tuner, so we do have the 1 Synchro monster in here as well, which I'll get to in a little bit, but that's why we're still running them. We no longer running what's it called, Glow Up Bloom in here as the tuner option, so the only tuner is actually Ash Blossom. And then the only 2 cards that I couldn't take out is Doom King Balderok, just because it's just too good as a zombie card, and Necroworld Banshee, again, because the artwork's amazing, and I'm still running a zombie world in this deck. So that's it for monsters, guys. Moving swiftly on to spells, and of course we are still running 3 Vampire's Domain. Too good not to, in my opinion. You know, getting the additional normal summon for this deck is, I wouldn't say super important, but it gives us a good advantage, especially with the higher level types that we've got going on. I'm still running Zombie World because it still works well with Vampire Sucker. Of course, we're still running that in the extra deck. And Zombie World is enough sometimes just to block, you know, to stop people's plays, because obviously if they're relying on their monster types and we're constantly changing them to zombies, sometimes their plans don't go to plan, if you see what I mean. But yeah, Zombie World for me, a good one, and I still want to keep in. Then there's lots and lots of one-offs. Again, they've all got their purposes, but most of them are indeed one-offs anyway. So we've got Terraforming. Obviously it can search the Zombie World, but we can also search a Vampire Kingdom. Still wanted to run that at 1, mainly because it is of course a vampire card. And likewise, we're also still running the Vampire's Desire, mainly because the artwork's absolutely cool. Yeah, I really like that. And then but just the one-off on that one, of course. And then moving on to the others, so we've got 1 for 1. 1 Foolish Burial, obvious choices. 1 Change of Heart, because obviously it fits with the theme very well. 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Called by the Grave, again fits with the theme. Those are sort of the standard staples, I would definitely say. And then moving swiftly on to traps, we've got 1 Vampire Domination, sorry, 3 Vampire Domination, I should say. Again, still a cool card. A lot of lists are running this at 2, maybe even 1 actually, but I don't see why you can't run it at 3, to be honest with you. We're running 2 Vampire Awakening. This hasn't changed since the last list that I've done. And what has changed is the 1 copy of Vampire Takeover, which is one of the cards I took out for one of the generic zombie monsters. But if you have no cards in, if you have no card in your field zone and all face-up cards you control, minimum 1 are zombie type, activate 1 Vampire Kingdom directly from your deck, and then you can special summon 1 dark vampire monster from your graveyard in face-up defense position. Obviously, it contradicts a little bit with Terraforming, because obviously you don't want to search that Vampire Kingdom, but it's just another option, and of course you get the special summon off the back of it, and I just like it as it goes with the archetype really well. So that's it for the main deck, guys. That is 42 cards. Extra deck hasn't changed an awful lot, but we'll just fly through this now. So still running 2 copies of Vampire Sucker, and then obviously lots and lots of one-offs. So we've got 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Avendred Savior, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Dark, the Dark Charmer, 1 Flying Mary, the Wandering Ghost Ship, 1 Vampire Fascinator, still love that card actually as well, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, need to change the artwork for that one, 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, again just fitting with the theme, 1 Crimson Knight, Vampire of Bram, 1 Dampnir Vampire Sheridan, 1 number 24 Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon, 1 Zombie Vampire, and like I mentioned before, just the 1 synchro, which is Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord, which I don't think was on the last list, but now is. Guys, that's the profile. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to it. I'm going to try and keep these profiles a little bit on the shorter side, just to give you an idea on the actual list, as opposed to me rabbiting on reading the cards, because of course you can read them yourselves. You're all big and brave enough now, aren't you? But yes, I'm going to try and keep these to a reasonably tight schedule of around 10 minutes, and we're there or thereabouts. Any comments, please do leave in the comments zone section below, of course. Throw us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we will see you for the next profile. Thank you once again.